Welcome back to Mental Health Matters. It's a brand new episode. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you are more than welcome to do so. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, interact with this channel. It's here for you. So, of course, as the title suggests, today we will be talking about all things relationships, relationship dynamics, patterns, habits, um, we'll even touch on marriage and other things, that influence us as people that choose to be in a relationship, to choose to relate and to share all that you are or whatever that you have with another person and interact at that level. It is essentially a relationship at the end of the day. So that's what we are going to talk about. But just to give a starting point and just to say that this episode is actually inspired by what has been going on recently um, on social media and just for us as a community, what has been going on, especially in the South African platforms, in the South African space. Um, of course, this relates to reality TV, but I think that right now we are at a point where people, doesn't matter if you're a reality TV star or you are not, people are now sharing their experiences and people are now opening up and really sharing the most intimate details that draw us in as the audience, as people, to engage, to give our opinions, our ideas. And you have some people saying, yes, I went through that and I went through this. So why not talk about it? Because it all connects back to our mental health. It all connects back to how you regard yourself, what you think about yourself, what you think about relationships, and so on. So we are going to unpack that today. So I think a starting point is, of course, the fact that relationships are unique. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, this is what is supposed to be happening. This is how relationships are supposed to be. There is no prerequisite, there is no manual. Everyone is unique. And why people get into relationships is something that is completely personal, is something that you'll never ever know. We don't know why people get into relationships, but I can guarantee the fact that there are different reasons why people get into relationship. Yes, love is of course at the center of it, but there are people that are in relationships and there is no love, but there are other things. So that's just to give an example and to give a basis and say that, well, just to say that, well, we need to respect that. We need to respect the fact that people are unique and people get into relationships and get married because of various different reasons. So I am here with an open mind, with no judgment. I'm not taking any side. I want to become as neutral as possible. So, one thing that the community, what I'm seeing a lot from many of us is that we do not understand the idea around a relationship dynamic. We do not understand the idea around people coming together with a set of intentions, with goals, with objectives, with an aim to achieve something. Once you are attracted to a person and you're like, I want to be with her or I want to be with him, already that is saying, I need to do certain things or I need to talk a certain type of way, whether you're conscious or not conscious about it. I need to do this, I need to do that. And even if you can be yourself, you are still aware that, okay, I'm really at least trying to get her number, or I'm really trying to be, on his chat list. I'm really trying to be at the same place wherever that he chooses to go, wherever that she chooses to go. You have an objective, you have an aim, you have a goal, you have a target. And how it works out is completely different. So we need to understand that. We need to understand how things begin, especially relation. Why are you with this person? Why are you with this person? Why are you in that situation? Why? And if you are the kind of person who goes into a commitment or wants a commitment, why are you committing to that person? So, obviously, when we look at those things, or when we look at those qualities, and when we look at those traits, obviously it's all the good stuff. I mean, nobody wants to be with a bad person. And I'm saying this in a, in a way in which, just to say, of course we all want the good stuff in life. We all want the good stuff. We all want the nice stuff. We all want to get to an ideal place, whatever your ideal is. No judgment, but we all want to be in a better place. We all have good intentions at the beginning. But then, as people become closer, as people begin to share a lot of similarities with each other, we forget that there's something called vulnerability. We forget that the more you see a lot of similarities and you share your similarities, the more you become comfortable. You start to become vulnerable. This is why it's important to know yourself. Knowing yourself is not something that is similar to studying a book or a course or something. Knowing yourself is just simply being honest with yourself. This is my weakness. This is my strength. This is my dark side. This is my light side. When I'm like this is what happens. When I do this is what happens. Just be honest with yourself, because you will know exactly when someone is like, well, I don't think I agree with this side of you, or I don't like this side of you. You will know exactly how to compromise. You'll know exactly how to figure things out. So that is one part that we forget as a society, that there's something called vulnerability. Once you've reached your target, once you've reached your aim, you start becoming similar, very, very similar. There's a lot of, we like the same things, you know, a lot of similarities. And then you become comfortable and vulnerable at the same time. You open up. And when we become vulnerable, vulnerability is neutral. It's not a good or a bad thing. But some of the ways in which you express your vulnerability can be good to some people. It can be bad to some people. It can be triggering to other people. It can be non-triggering to other people. So that is one part of it. Two, what people are struggling with the most, in my opinion, through my observations and my evaluation, that includes myself at the beginning of pursuing a relationship, is honesty. And what I mean by honesty, yes, you can be you can absolutely be yourself. Just be yourself. Like, oh, this is me, whatever. You know, I'm not afraid to be myself. I will not pretend to be to be something that I'm not. But there are other people that have difficulties with being themselves, and that's their thing, right? But when I talk about honesty, honesty means saying exactly what you expect out of the situation, and asking the other party, the other person, what is it that they expect out of the situation, whether they're going to lie about it or beat around the bush or whatever. you are able to be honest. It means you are able to discern. So you will know exactly. And whether you choose to move on, whether you choose not to move on, that's entirely up to you. So we have a situation where people are not honest and they're not intentional. Why are you here? Especially when you could start out and be like, I just want to have fun, or you know, we just chilling, we just getting to know each other. But as things become deeper and you become more vulnerable and you become open, you can see it, you can feel it, you know that things are becoming serious. Why aren't you taking out the time to be honest and be truthful and ask as to what is going on, where are we going, or just to even say, are we still on that agreement that we made? Are we still on that path, or are we now beginning to like go into, other routes and whatnot? Just to check, are we still on that path of commitment or non-committal vibes or whatever? Are we still on that path? So what do we do, generally speaking? We get in, we get comfortable, we get vulnerable, and then we just go with the flow. And then we just go with the flow, and then we just go with the flow, and then it's a routine. And you're like, oh, I know her, and he's like, I know him. And then because people have been suppressing who they really are, people are afraid, or they didn't really get a chance to be honest like that, or they didn't really have the chance to evaluate what is going on. They get surprised. This is why you find a lot of people saying, he changed or she changed and became something or someone else that I don't know, someone else that I cannot recognize. There's no way. There is no way. This is why at some point in this era, there was this thing of red flags. You gotta pay attention to the red flags. You gotta pay attention to the red flags. The truth is, where do those red flags come from? Because those red flags should come after this person has been able to communicate or to show you, or after you have been able to discern that, ooh, okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to deal with that, but we'll see. Or, oh, now I understand why he's acting like this or why she's acting like this, because 1, 2, and 3, you have references, you have backup. I hate to say it, but we cannot be surprised about people's behaviors. I find it hard personally, and I beg to differ, but personally I find it hard when someone is saying, this person just woke up and was a completely different person. This person just woke up and started beating me up. This person just woke up and started insulting me. How? Under what influence? How is it? Unless something is really wrong mentally, you need to go get checked. If you wake up the next day and you're like just beating me up and you're insulting me, yesterday we were cool, everything was great, and you begin to do that, you need to go get checked. So I firmly believe that people will show us who they are. And the more we discern, the more we are honest, the more we are open, the more we are vulnerable. We are able to deal with the red flags accordingly, no matter what that means for you. If you dealing with the red flag is confrontation, you dealing with the red flag is leaving, you dealing with the red flag is asking for intervention from a third party, professional help, you dealing with the red flag is ignoring it, it's up to you. Nobody can tell you what is it that you need to do, how you need to act, or how you don't need to act. But let the red flag come through knowing that this person did say, this person did say that, he's been thinking about polygamy. He's been thinking about istembu. This person did say, or this person did cheat and sneak up on me, and this person did make a couple of jokes, and say that, how would I feel if there's another woman and there's two of us or there's three of us? When the red flag comes through, you need to know. The red flags don't even pitch out of the blue. You need to know. You need to have a connection that, I know, I remember this one time. I remember this one time he made this joke, and he was like, I remember this one time we were dealing with other people, coming through, and I chose to ignore it. So now it's happening for real. There needs to be a reference point. You can't come through and be like, oh, this and that. So why am I also saying this? It's because I watch this show called The Mummy Club. I'm a very huge fan of these reality shows, especially, it's just entertaining. I just enjoy. This is that part of television that I watch, that small part of TV that I watch, because I hardly watch any TV anyway. So there was this one lady, and for me, I really believe in protecting people's identities, even though it's all over, right? Even though it's all over, and this and that, and videos are over the show and stuff, but I would like to respect people, because that's their business. But there was this one lady who obviously has kids, and is married with this man and everything, and so on. When the show initially started, already there were red flags for us, the audience. We could see that, okay, the baby girl, they have a teenage daughter, I think. She was not very happy. It seems like she had some issues. She was even going for therapy. I think that's what she expressed on the show, trying to just figure herself out in the midst of everything that's happening in her family situation. And the lady, also the mom, was also, not very happy about what is going on. But she's, at the beginning, she seemed relatively okay, like, everything was okay, beautiful family, whatnot. So fast forward, there was a video that went viral where the father, I think, the husband has now decided to take another wife, or is deciding to take another wife. And they had this meeting with the kids and everything, and the father was leaving. This man was leaving, and just shouting and angry, and just, just upset, and everybody was crying. The children were there, heartbroken. It was a very sad situation that was all over social media platforms and so on. And people had their opinions, and people could relate to it, and so on, and many things. And for us, some of us, we could relate to some aspect of it. Some people could relate to the whole thing. It was a whole conversation for the nation. I really took a long time to think about this. And first of all, my thing was, I don't know what are the dynamics in this marriage. I don't know what was the agreement. We don't know if this man hinted or did not hint. We don't know if this man promised not to do this and maybe broke the promise. We do not know the dynamics. The two people involved, this man and this woman, they know the dynamics of their union, their marriage. They know it. But as a person, as a human being, and also as a mental health coach or a counselor, I am just going to say for myself, really, this is my opinion. It's not anybody's opinion. There are red flags from the beginning. And if you are a blended family, I've never been in a blended family, I don't know. I don't want to be in a blended family. I don't know the dynamic there, but there is a dynamic in a sense of, if you are in a blended family, and if the blended family involves more than one partner or more than two partners, that is a dynamic. And I personally am not surprised why this particular person would say, I want polygamy, or I want to take another wife. I am not surprised. It was very heartbreaking because there's children involved and whatever. And I don't know also if the agreement means that this person, as a father figure, is going to stop supporting his kids, or stop supporting his household and taking care of the things that he needs to take care of. I do not know. And if that's the case, that is very, very bad. And I believe that the law can intervene and make that right. But if that's not the case, I really am not surprised. I'm not surprised because if you are in a blended family with more than two women or men or whatever involved, people involved, I am not surprised. I am not surprised. So for me, that's the dynamic that I picked up. And I don't know if there were promises. We don't know if there were promises that were made, or if it was a matter of, no, I really want to do this, and your partner is like, no, no, we shouldn't do that. You're just brushing it off. You're just ignoring it. You're just like, no, we shouldn't go. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. And for you, as the other party, it's actually serious. You actually want to do it. So that is a dynamic that involves honesty, that involves transparency, that involves boundaries, that involves a lot. And recently, watching this show, very recently, she has come out, the mom, the wife has come out and said, well, things were not supposed to be like this. The plan has changed, right? The plan has changed. And for me, that gave me the idea that it's either there was a promise made that, no, I am not going to take, I promise you, I'm not going to take that route. We're just going to focus on you and this and that. And the brother could not help himself, or he couldn't hold it anymore. I don't know. This is just my opinion, my 2 cents opinion as an outsider. So I'm using that example in particular because that shows us a lot. That summarizes what I'm trying to say. When you get into a relationship, you are going to be vulnerable, no matter the setup. What you need to do is check. Are you still in that path? Are you still walking the path that you agreed upon? And when someone says, hey, why don't we invite a third party? Why don't we invite a fourth party? And you choose to ignore it, or you choose to dismiss it, or you choose to try and make the person make a promise that they will not do it, or you try to use your children or other things that affect the both of you to make them change their minds or to manipulate them. It's a very dangerous game. That's just what I'm just trying to say. It's a very dangerous game. We don't know. You can't control another person. In as much as this can be your partner, your wife, your everything, or your girlfriend, or what, your committed, you've known each other for years. You don't know what another person is thinking. At the end of the day, you can only think for yourself. But at least do the work. At least be honest. At least state exactly what is it that you need. And discern as much as you can, so that if things like this happen, you're not caught by surprise. You're not caught off guard. You're like, oh, it hurts. I'm betrayed. I'm disappointed. But I can actually connect the pieces and I can see that this is what this person has been trying to say this whole entire time. This is exactly who he is. So he's been trying to just mask himself, but this is who he is, or this is who she is. So why can't we do that? It's simply because we don't know who we are. We do not want to be honest with ourselves. We don't even know what we want. If you ask a person, what do you want to do? What do you think is your calling, your purpose, your gift, your talent, your thing? What is your vibe? People don't know. They don't know. It's like this question of what are you looking for in another person? Or when relatively for me, relatively, I've had a lot of guys say, when I was not in a commitment, I've had a lot of guys who would usually say, what are you looking for in a guy? You know that question, and that is like the general question that they ask, people ask each other, especially guys. I don't know now, I don't know, but I think, there's still that question out there. So what are you looking for in a man, or something like that, and you don't know what to say, you're just biting your tongue, and you know um that is, just to make that example, it shows that the reason why also that question is hard for us, even if you're just dating and you're young and you haven't figured yourself out really, but you get people that say, I want a commitment, but when asked that question, they don't know how to answer it. Why? Because they don't know themselves. They don't even know what they want. They don't even know what they want. So get into a relationship, get into a commitment with intention. Know exactly what is it that you want. Know exactly what is it that you're looking for. Know exactly why. If it's hard, take the time out to figure out why. Go along and figure out why. And after you figured out, it doesn't mean that you should just be chilling. It doesn't mean that get into everything is paid for, everything is done for me, everything, I'm cool, I'm just gonna chill. Continue to do the work, maintain. That also one thing that people don't want to talk about is the fact that relationships are work. Relationships are work. There's no chilling in a relationship. There are moments and seasons where it's like, oh, we're just having a good time, like it's nice, like everything is great, and I'm just, you just wake up and you just in the fields and everything is amazing. But there are seasons where you need to do the work, because you will test and try each other, and life will test and try you. So imagine having to deal with the tests and trials of this individual, and of course they have to deal with the tests and trials of this individual, and then the tests and trials of life are also coming through, and then the tests and trials of other people, if you have kids or you don't have kids or whatever, are just coming through. It's going to be too much. It's going to be devastating. Of course, you're going to feel like, I don't know who the hell is this person. I don't know who I'm dealing with. So what I'm just saying is that let's figure out who we are and what we want. Simple. And continue even when you found the one, or you're in that situation that you want to be. Continue to figure out why. Continue to figure out how you can improve things, how you can be as honest and transparent as possible, and make whatever decisions, whether you choose to stay or leave, make a decision knowing that I did the work, I did my part, and I'm out. As disappointed and as heartbroken you might be. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. Please take care. Once again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much, and see you soon.